I think I did this one too. This is the star defense. I had to redo this one. I call it the star defense. I'm sure it has a name. Star is rats backward. STAR. Each one of those initials stands for people in my life. If I ever write a book on it, I'll explain more. And but the essential position is black plays for this, 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 and then decides which side of the board he wants to castle. There's a YouTube video, I think it's called Universal Defense to 1D4. And the author presents just like I explained. And I've played hybrids of this defense many times, sometimes starting with E4. There are certain ways to take advantage when you play one E4. So I finally decided the way to do it is pretty much the way black did it. You know, as white, you play D3, then you play C3, then you play Queen C2, and then you continue with it. And I call it the star attack when you're white, and I call it the star defense when you're black. And it's the star system overall. Okay, that's just my name for it. If Bent Larson can attach his name to Nimzovich's opening 1B3, they called, it used to be called it was originally the Nimzovich opening, and that was the Larson opening, and now they call it the Nimzovich Larson opening. So the opening names change, and I'm sure the purists will change mine. But I have a whole system built with this because you can play this defense as black against virtually anything white throws at you. It has certain complications in different lines where you have to tread some tricky ground, but that's a whole other topic if I ever decide to expand on this through broadcasts or through publishing a book. So here I think it's wise for white to just develop pieces. D5 is an early commitment. And black is playing it the way I saw it. Now this actually helps black because one of the ideas of the star system, once you completed your castling, is to, if white doesn't play H3, black will play this and come back here on his own, forcing white to defend D4. Okay, so white is actually helping black. Now this indicates that black, it might not be wise to castle queen side here. Now white can't castle queen side, so black should be thinking about castling. He doesn't. There he does. Okay, so white should castle right now. Let's see if he does. No, not yet. So what's black do in this position? Well, let's pay attention to this formation. Now let's do run move 13. I'm going to go back to the beginning. We're talking about these 6 center pawns. Okay, we're going to go back here. This is what they call the Czech Benoni. Czech is in Czechoslovakia. Now this is the same pawn formation in the center that we have in the game we're analyzing. Now the pawn chain rule tells us to attack with our pawns in the direction the pawn chain points. So black's goal is to get this in or this in. Okay, what's white supposed to do? Well, white has space, and here we look at our pawn chain. We can't go this way, and we can't go that way. So we're left with F4 and B4. So sometimes white will try one of those, and black will try the other one. And then if the B pawns advance and get traded off, then we switch over, and both sides are trying to run their F pawns. So let's forward. What is it? Move 13, so 25 will be close enough. Okay. So here we actually have that one pawn break in. So if if white takes on c5, black has a choice of dropping his knight into c5 or taking back with the pawn. Let's see what happens. Okay, he does castle. And now he decides to push by. Now, black can go here. Let's see if he did. Yeah, he did. Okay, so now we've got 5 files sealed up. And I had a game with a student once where we had something like this happen, and this file even got locked up. And he was trying to lock them all up. But I got down to 2 files, and I found a way to break through. Okay. So the strategies haven't changed. White still needs to play for f4, and black still needs to play for f6. And that's why the game I had with my student ended up that way. Now, at any point, white could play this, and maybe he should. I don't know if black can get it like a knight to a5. Let's see, he'd have to get to b7, meaning he'd have to get to d8. It's going to take him a long time if it's even possible. Okay, let's go forward. So this prepares the f4 break. And I think it would have been better to have come back here and keep the pressure here. See, this is black's bad bishop or good bishop. Don't trade it. This is your bad bishop. That one we want to trade. So this may have helped help white out. So when this happens, it's one of the drawbacks of playing that f4 move. Sometimes black gets control of e5, and that's a great square for his knight. So we have basically the f file for white to work on. Oh, here. I'm getting tired. I'm sorry. Look at white's clock. This is good. This is time trouble. Time trouble, just you don't see it much anymore. You know, ever hear of Sammy Rejevsky? He was one of America's greatest players ever. You know, he always got in time pressure, and it was his style of play, part of it, and he played slow positional stuff, and sometimes he could do very well in time pressure. Sometimes he would throw it away. But, you know, you don't see it much because everyone's moving too fast, the thing I keep harping on. You know, black has these beautiful squares here. I mean, this knight could take at some point, and the bishop pops in. You know, black does have better long-term prospects here, simply because he's got some very active pieces with, and he's determined where he wants to put them.
Check.
And this can hurt black. This could come back and haunt black if that pawn gets up to f4. It'll take away the e5 square. But it did make a weakness here. And this helps black a little bit. I think he should have brought the knight up there, but he didn't. Okay. So white's looking for the right time to do this. Wait. No, you don't have a sack here. There's too many defenders, so I was trying to capitalize on the pin. Okay, that rook's in trouble. Knight may want to come in here. Now, those black squares are just a disaster for poor white. I remaneuver the knight, not sure where. There came that. Pressure here. White's surviving well with his time pressure. Now look at this. White has two advanced center pawns, one of which is passed. I spoke too soon. But this is tricky. You know, it may be the time to try to run this pawn. Let's see. It gives this exchange sack is just fascinating. Now, that was why maybe White could have considered running that pawn. Black has a whole lot of pawns for the exchange. Well, actually, he has 2 pawns, but he has a whole lot of pawns on the king side. So the white king is actually very, very, very exposed here. But White does have some compensation in that he's got a lot of heavy pieces and an open e-file. Now his a3 pawn is under attack. He offers a queen trade.
Check.
And oh, that's right. That I think he can't play here because he gets mated. I think he did play there. No, he didn't. Okay. So you can't play here. Remember this theme.
Checkmate.
We don't want that to happen. Okay, now Black has too many pawns now. But White needs to run this D pawn. There he goes. Black sees to stop it. He says, well, take my D pawn, I'll take your rook. Now, White attacks and defends. He wants to hold the D6 pawn and trade queens. And this pawn is seriously is a serious danger.
Check. Check.
Let's get ready to queen. Watch out. There it went. See? So he ended up blundering it. But he has something here, as I recall. Let's see.
Check.
Okay, got to get out of check.
Check.
Got to get it out of check. But, Black has too many pawns. He has a knight and 4 pawns for the rook. And this king is still very, very precariously posted.
Check.
Okay, now White says let's go sack. And he declines. I'll come back and look at that.
Check.
Yeah, so here's White's just trying to sack everything for stalemate. That's right. Yeah, okay. And he's very close to it.
Check.
But here's what happened. He took this way and got checkmate.
Checkmate.
Right, I remember this. But if you're going to try this,
check.
Just do this. Now do this.
Check.
The point is, that's a stalemate. Game over. So Black is still winning this. He has to just move his king away. Now here,
check.
If you take with the king, it's a draw, right? But this releases the stalemate. Just
check.
Take with the queen. Okay. Oops, I went too far. So let's see. Queen takes.
Check.
Check.
Check. Check. Check.
He's going to follow that king around, but eventually we're going to get to a position where Black can release the stalemate. And here it is.
Check.
We love it if he takes with the pawn or the king, but unfortunately
check.
He takes this way and it's mate next turn. I had a game once where I got careless. I had it was Black. I had a rook covering this white's second rank, and a rook covering the G file. And white's king was on H1. Okay, and with that king on H1, it stalemated. And my opponent's rook started chasing my king around. And I had to, there's one way I could never get out of the checks. I had to go the other way. I had to transfer my king to the corner, I think, as it was. So if he checked me on this square with the rook, my rook could take. And if he checked me on this square, this rook could take, and thus releasing the stalemate. It was it was funny. It was way back in 1975 when I played that one. I know who I played, where I played it, and I think when I stalemated his king, his king was stalemated, but he's still a rook. When I trapped his king, I had a mate in one, which I just, playing too fast, messed it up. So let's back this up. White had that passed pawn.
Check.
So maybe he just needs to repeat the position.
Check.
Okay. Oh, wait. I mean, is that where he checked? Well, that's going to trade the queens, and then you're going to drop this pawn. Let's see. Let me back this up. Where do these checks start? Okay.
Check.
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 He didn't do another check. Like I say, this king is looking really, really scary. You could almost do an interference move. The point being that if the pawn takes, this pawn is running, but I don't know, that king, that white king looks awful loose to me. See here, if king here, you get mated in one. So you have to go this way, and look at that.
Check.
Okay, now you have to give up the queen. And now after that, we're threatening a mate here. It's not looking good for white. So I was talking about the pawn earlier. Let's see. Okay, the pawn was passed here. What if we push it now? Okay, now we could take this pawn, but then we get to push this again. He can bring the knight to this square, but maybe we can get rid of it. But it's tough. He's only got 2 minutes and 52 seconds on his clock. Fortunately, he gets a bonus 45 seconds every time he moves. So, that will help him. I covered this game already, and the video didn't take, so I know I saw some other defenses which I'm not seeing here. But this, the black just got an active game, so let's back it up. Okay, we could argue that, white has only 10 minutes on his clock. Black has 3 times as much time thereabouts. What if white never plays for f4? Well, black's going to play for f5. So the question to ask yourself, are you happy if you're white? Are you happy with the draw here? Okay. You know, if you're playing somebody, you ask yourself this question. If you know your rating, if you're playing somebody 200 points above you, are you happy with the draw? If the answer is yes, well, take the draw. But how do you learn whether or not you can win unless you play? So, in essence, that's the gist of things. Okay, so I'm going to stop this recording.